Hi, thanks for joining me. I'm Melanie from Yoga Within. Welcome to Beginner Ashtanga. If you've never done Ashtanga before, keep in mind, something I should let you know is traditionally Ashtanga is not taught with props. I encourage people to use props, particularly in the beginner class, just because my opinion is it's a good way to find out what you need in your body. I've been teaching yoga for over 30 years, and the one thing I can share with you is that what feels right in your body is very important. I'll be giving you cues on movements, on alignment, on breathing, and I am just one person suggesting things to many of you, and none of you I can see, although I know a few of your habits. So keep in mind, it's your practice, you're in charge, and if I'm saying to do something that doesn't feel right, the first thing you should ask yourself is, why am I doing that? So with that said, take a moment just to center yourself, sit up nice and tall. If you need a foamy block or a blanket to sit up on, to lift the hips and tilt the pelvis forward, I encourage you to do that. Hands on the knees or in the lap, and just take a long, deep breath in and a long, loud letting go exhalation. Now let the lips close lightly and begin to find the Ujjayi breath. Ujjayi breath is the breath that's used in Ashtanga Yoga. If it doesn't feel comfortable with you, I just encourage you to find a breath that works for you and breathe naturally. Ujjayi breath is done with the mouth closed, breathing in and out through the nose. You will hear a gentle sound. It's breathing is referred to often as the ocean breath or Darth Vader breath. The breath heats you up safely from the inside out. Don't force the breath, let it come naturally. Let the mind follow the waves of the breath. The sound of the breath gives the mind a place of focus, and the mind can begin to slow down, and we can begin to find ourselves present in the here and now. The practice becomes like a moving meditation. Slowly let the awareness return. Stretch the legs out. Lift the gaze up, bounce into the knees. Try to keep the Ujjayi breath, or try to be mindful or present within your breath. And if you can, bring yourself up to a standing position. Try to come up to standing without using your hands. Find yourself at the front of the mat in a Samastiti, Tadasana, or a mountain pose. The foundation of all the standing postures are your feet. So adjust from the foundation up. Move your feet so the outside edges of your feet are parallel. Seal your hands at heart center. Use the drishti, which is your point of gaze. So your drishti right now is straight ahead down the tip of the nose. As we move through Surya Namaskara A, inhale, lift the arms, lift the gaze. Exhale, fold the body forward. If you can't get your hands to the floor, put your hands on your shins, on your thighs. If it's back or hamstrings bothering you, move your feet farther apart. Exhale, fully fold. Inhale up to that flat back again. Exhale, place your hands on the floor beside your feet and step back to plank. Lower the knees down, lower the body down. Put the tops of the feet on the floor and come to upward dog. So here you can keep the thighs down. If you are able to lift thighs up, that's an option. Tuck the toes, send the hips back. If child's pose is where you're comfortable, stay there. Otherwise, land in downward dog. Give yourself time here. You're given the gift of 5 breaths in Ashtanga to find what feels right with you at any given time. A bending of the knees can allow the hips to move up and back. That walking dog may show you where you need your foundation. So perhaps your feet need to be farther apart, or your hands need to be farther apart. The neck is relaxed. The gaze, the drishti towards the wall behind you or towards the navel. On an inhalation, bring your gaze between your hands and step your feet forward. You're in that half fold. Exhale to your full fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, lower back to Samastiti. Keep your breath. I will forget to tell you to breathe. It's a good idea to keep breathing. We'll repeat that 2 more times. Inhale, arms and gaze. Exhale, fold the body forward. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, hands down. Step back through plank. Place the knees down, lower down. Tops of the feet to the floor, upward dog. Your back bend comes from strong legs. Exhale, downward dog. Breathing here. Make the adjustments you need. The eyes are open throughout the Ashtanga practice. Try to keep your mind present within your breath. Your breath tells you your story. Often we find ourselves holding our breaths, which is partly why we cue the breath in Ashtanga. When our mind is present within what we're doing, the risk of injury is much less than when our mind drifts and wanders. As you inhale, bring your gaze and your feet back to your hands, and if you need to take many steps, that's fine. Fully fold the body. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, Samastiti. 1 more time. Inhale, arms and gaze. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, step back. Lower through Chaturanga. You do not have to up the knees down. Inhale, lift upward dog. Open that chest. Exhale, downward dog. Remember, if something is causing you pain, reflect within yourself, why do you keep doing it? The idea is to create change, transformation, both physically and mentally. So if you do the same thing over and over, you get the same results. Try to challenge yourself without hurting yourselves. Inhale, gaze and feet to hands. You're in that partial fold. Exhale, fully fold. Readjust your foundation if you need to. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, Samastiti. Surya Namaskara B. The knees bend, hips back, arms up. If back and hamstrings are bothering you, move the feet farther apart. Same distance between knees and feet. As you exhale, fold the body forward. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, step back through plank, lower through Chaturanga. Lift to upward dog, open that front body. Exhale, downward dog. Now your left foot pivots to the left and your right foot comes forward between your hands. Inhale, lifting the arms, lifting the gaze. Exhale, fold the body forward. That back knee can come down if you need to. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Now the right foot pivots and the left comes forward. You can always come up to standing and just move yourself into this position. Exhale, bringing the body back down through Chaturanga. Lift upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Walk it out. Remember your options. You can always go to child's pose. If you're dizzy, support the head on the fists. Know why you're doing what you're doing. The asanas are here to teach us something. Sometimes what we learn is less is more. Inhale, bring your gaze and your feet to your hands. So get there how you need to. Exhale, fold the body. Bend the knees. Inhale, lift arms and gaze. Exhale, Samastiti. 2 more times, leave them out if you need to. Knees bend, inhale, arms and gaze. If it hurts to bring the arms all the way up, put your hands on your hips. And exhale takes you forward. Lift the hips, open the body as you inhale. Step back, lower through Chaturanga as you exhale. Keep your breathing. Lift to upward dog. Tuck the toes back to downward dog. Left foot pivots, right comes forward. Remember, you can put that knee down and come up like this if you need to. Bringing yourself all the way back down through chaturanga. Lift upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Other foot, right pivots left forward. Coming up. Now remember, if you have the hips twisted and you come up, you're no longer in that warrior pose. So as much as you can, reset your foundation so the hips are pointing forward. Know why you're doing what you're doing. Bring yourself back down, lower through chaturanga. Lift upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Long, full, deep breaths. Go to child's pose if you need to. Try to keep the mind present in the breath. Remember, Ashtanga yoga is also referred to as yoga chikitsa, which is healing, yoga therapy. The only way it becomes therapeutic is if you be kind to yourself. Inhale, bring the feet to the hands. Exhale, fold the body. Knees bend. Inhale, arms and gaze. Exhale, samastiti. Last time. Inhale. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, step back, lower through chaturanga. Lift to upward dog. Open that front body. Exhale, downward dog. Left foot pivots. Right foot comes forward. Coming all the way up. Set your foundation. Make sure it's strong. Remember, back knee can come down. Front knee down. Lower through chaturanga. Lift upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Other side. Right pivots. Left forward. Breathing in. Breathing out as you come back down. Inhale up. Get that front body open. Exhale back. Long, full, deep breaths. Move mindfully. See what feels right for you. Work with your breath. Listen to the cues from your body, not from me. You are your own best teacher. Inhale, gaze and feet to hands. Exhale, fold the body. Knees bend. Inhale, arms and gaze. Exhale, samastiti. Padangusthasana, step the feet about hip width apart, wider if there's back or hamstring problems. Bend from the hip creases, take the pointer and middle fingers under the big toes, touch the thumbs. Drop the glutes, bend the elbows. So if this is what feels good for you, go there. If you can drop the head and begin to straighten the legs, do that. The elbows are bent to help release the upper back. The neck is long. The eyes are open. And again, it could be like a downward dog where you bend the knee and straighten the other leg. Use your foundation, engage the feet. Remember, the strength comes from the foundation up. Now bend the knees, straighten the arms. As you move to Padahastasana, you lift the feet, slide the hands under the feet, so the fingers point to the heels, bend the elbows, drop the glutes. If this is enough, stay there. Otherwise, drop the head and begin to straighten the legs. Other option being resting elbows on thighs. Do what is going to give you the greatest strength. The idea is that we are still practicing yoga, whatever style we practice, for a long time. Keep the breath. As you inhale, straighten the arms, bend the knees. Place the hands on the hips. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, step back to the front of the mat. Samastiti. So this is your reset. Check in. How do you feel? Your pause. Utthita Trikonasana. You step out wide to the right. Right foot turns out, left foot turns in. It can also be at 90 degrees if that's better. Body lengthened. Now here you may find the use of a block. If you don't have a block, you can use a Kleenex box or just whatever you might have. The hand can rest on the hip or in the low back, or the arm can extend up. The idea in triangle pose often is thought of as a side bend, but we're lengthening top and bottom half of the body. The legs draw towards each other. One shoulder might be above the other shoulder. The gaze could be down to the foot, straight ahead, or all the way up. If you notice your bottom heavily sticking out and you feel your low back, good chance that you're hanging out in the back and you're not using any of your core strength. Remember, it's both strength and flexibility we're trying to build. As you inhale, bring yourself all the way up. So if you needed the block, pick it up. Turn your feet, know how you move from your foundation, and take yourself onto the other side. Lift the arches of the feet. If your head's hanging, know why it's hanging. If you can build strength in the neck, keep the neck in line with the rest of the spine, do that. When you're thinking about drishti, point of gaze, roll your eyeballs, use your eyes. Keep the breath, it tells you your story. Your next inhalation brings you all the way up. If you're using the block, you may want to pick it up. Now you're going into Parvarita, which is the rotation. So the left foot turns in, the right foot turns out. The idea with the hips pointing straight ahead is that so you can start that twist, this particular twist, in this low back area. The hand can be at the inside of the right foot or at the outside. You're drawing front hip back, back thigh forward. So place your feet where you need them to create that movement. Visualize a straight spine. You can extend that right arm up if it feels good for you to do it. Open the shoulders. Look down to the side or up. And keep breathing. As you inhale, bring yourself all the way back up to standing and reset your foundation, which again is your feet. If your hips are not pointing straight ahead and you're trying to enter the twist from this angle, you'll find that you will probably feel pain in the low back. So understand why you're doing what you're doing. Front hip back, back thigh forward, spine is straight, which includes your neck. Work with your breath. Don't lift the arm because you think you should. Do it because it's a benefit for you. Unclench your teeth, unclench your toes, open your mind. Keep breathing. Inhale, bring yourself back up. Exhale, step back to the front of the mat into Samastiti. Utthita Parsvaskanasana, step wider to the right. Right foot out, left in, it can remain at 90. Bend the knee. So if you bend the knee and the hip is up, ask yourself where you feel it in your body. If there's any way you can keep the body open, keep the hips at an even height, bend the knee, place the hand on the block, on the floor. Other hand, left, can be in the low back, up, or elbow by ear. If you don't need the block, perhaps the hand is on the floor, or the hand is at the outside of the foot. Either way, use your body for feedback. If the head's hanging, ask yourself why. Build strength in the neck by bringing the ear up towards the arm. Drishti can be down, sideways, or up. Elbow can also rest on thigh. Inhale, bring yourself up. Exhale, turn your feet. So the beauty of Ashtanga is we do one side, we do the other side, and we learn that our body is rarely the same on each side on any given day. Remember, the idea is to build strength, so if the head's hanging, bring the neck up in line with the spine. If the hand's on the floor and you're only hanging out in flexibility, think about how important it is to build strength and flexibility. Know why you're doing what you're doing. If you feel your back, good chance you're sticking your bottom out and hanging out without any core strength happening. Breathing. An inhalation brings you up. Now, as you exhale, you're moving into the rotation parvari to the twist. So the right foot turns out, the left foot turns in, and you bend the right knee. Now, if your hips aren't pointing straight ahead, your twist is probably going to come from the upper back. So you want to draw front hip back, back thigh forward. If you need to lift the back heel and put the back knee on the floor, that's fine. Your left elbow goes to the outside of the right knee and your hands meet in prayer. The palms press together to open the upper back. You look up to the right elbow, to the side or down to the floor. Here, if you can begin to lift the knee and move into the twist, that's great. But if not, the knee can stay down. Keep your breathing. An inhalation will bring you back up to standing, and you turn your feet. So set your foundation, which is your feet. As you move into the twist, remember the idea is front hip back, back thigh forward to keep the spine long and straight, as opposed to hips not where they should be and trying to twist upper back. Know why you're doing what you're doing. Back knee can come down, shoulder or elbow to the outside of the knee, hands meet in prayer, front hip back, back thigh forward. So if you're wobbly, perhaps you need to adjust your back foot. You can lift the back knee. Keep in mind, if you enter it from this position, the back foot probably won't be on the floor. Inhale, bring yourself up. Exhale, back to Samasthiti, your reset, check in. Inhale, step out wide to the right, outside edges of your feet parallel. Knees bend so you know you're bending from the hip creases, and place your hands on the floor. If this is enough, or perhaps you need even elbows on thighs, that's fine. Otherwise, the hands go to the floor, the elbows bend, and you walk the hands back. If you are able to begin to straighten the legs, that's great. But if not, don't worry. Be where you are working hard, creating change without sheer agony. Remember, if you're feeling dizzy, you shouldn't go all the way forward. Now, as you inhale, straighten the arms, roll the gaze forward. Exhale, place your hands on the hips. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, release the arms. Arms come up as you breathe in. Exhale, back to the hips. Inhale from the bottom of the feet all the way up. Exhale, bend the knees. So bend from the hip creases as opposed to rounding from the upper back. And send those hips back. Remember, this is a forward fold. If this is enough, stay there. Otherwise, head goes down, legs may begin to straighten. I don't know if you can see because you're upside down, but my legs are locked. So a slight bending, a retraction, and a straightening allows me to find steady and ease in my body. Don't confuse ease with easy. An inhalation brings you all the way up. Exhale, release. Arms come up as you breathe in. As you exhale, interlace your hands behind your back. Now, this is where a strap might be helpful as you move through chest expander, opening that front body. Body may fold halfway. It may fold all the way. You may need more strap. Chest expander is about opening the front body. Eyes are open, breath is strong, legs are active without being locked. An inhalation brings you all the way up. If you need to walk your hands up your legs instead, do that. Keep lifting the arms if you can. Exhale, release. Hands come to the hips, look up. Exhale, fold the body forward. The peace fingers, pointer and middle, go under the big toes. Knees bend. So I can see here, my feet are too far apart for me. So I move my feet closer together. Your head may drop down, the elbows might go out to the side. Keep breathing, or you may keep the knees bent. You may even keep the elbows on the thighs. What challenges you the most without creating sheer agony? As you inhale, straighten the arms, roll the eyeballs forward. And exhalation places the hands on the hips. And you inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, step back to the front of the mat. Samastiti. As you inhale, take the right foot, step it out to the right. Left foot turns in slightly. The feet from the front big toe to the back heel are approximately the width of your yoga mat. You can either bring the hands behind the back, holding the elbows, going knuckle to knuckle, or if possible, palm to palm. As you go forward, the action you want to feel in your legs is front hip back, back thigh forward. Spine is long. You may want to bend the front knee just to get that action like in downward dog where you're sending your hips up and back. The body folds forward. If it's better to release the hands and keep the fingers on the floor or using a block, by all means. Understand why you're doing what you're doing and why the movement in your body is so important to strength and flexibility. Inhale, bring yourself all the way back up. We repeat it on the other side. So you turn around, set your foundation, fold the body halfway if that's good, all the way if it's better. Front hip back, back thigh forward, readjust your feet if you need to, moving that left foot a little farther out. If you can slide the fingertips up to where the hair and the neckline meet, try to find that natural curve of your neck, so let go of the tension you might be holding there. Keep your breath. Unclench your teeth, unclench your toes. Use the strength of your legs to bring you all the way up. And exhale, step back to the front of the mat into Samastiti. Follow your breath. Now you're moving into balance. If you need to use a wall or you prefer to use a strap, by all means, grab them. The weight goes to the left foot, you lift the right. Hip alignment is important because if you're always hiking a hip and the body's out of whack, in time you will feel pain in the back or somewhere in your body, good chance. So lift that right foot off the floor. You can bring the right arm under the leg. Left hand can be on the hip or down the thigh or holding a wall. It is a forward fold, keep in mind. You may be able to straighten the leg, draw the shoulders back. Some of you can hold the ankle, some of you hold the feet. But if you're holding your foot just for the sake of getting the foot, really rethink why you're doing what you're doing. What is this posture teaching you? As you inhale, bring yourself up. Now remember, hip is ball and socket, so let the hip move in its socket. Bring the leg out. Take the gaze the other way. Think about alignment in how you're moving your body. Are you sending the hip over? Can you rise up? Some of you may hold the back of the thigh. Some of you may straighten the leg. Just know why you're doing what you're doing. Gaze can go the opposite way if it's a good day. It is a good day. Bring yourself back to the center. Fold the body forward. So again, forward fold. Leg might be straight, might not be. An inhalation brings you up. And then you begin to straighten that leg, pointing the toes. Drop the shoulders. Now remember here, my hips lifted, my toes are turned in. I actually feel pain. And I'm leaning back, so I know I'm not using strength. I'm more in a back bend. This is a straight leg connecting top and bottom half at the core. If you can go deeper, whatever deeper is for you, you can retract, bend the knee, and extend. Use your breathing. Don't do something because I'm telling you to. Do it because it's a benefit to you. Flex the foot, release, walk it out. Switch sides. Weight to the right, lifting the left. Perhaps this is your balance today, and that's perfect. You can go deeper if that's a day for you, and really think about depth. What does that actually mean? Draw the hip down, use the power of the breath, drop the shoulders down. Notice the structure, which is you. Does it feel strong? Does it feel stable? Is your breath telling you a positive story? Inhale, bring yourself up, move the hip in the socket, take it out to the side, open the shoulders, turn the head if it feels good. Use your breathing. Take yourself to where you know you can be today to create a challenge, to create strength, and to create ease, both physically and mentally. Bring yourself back to the center as you breathe in. Exhale, fold the body forward. An inhalation brings you back up. Inhalations create that sense of lengthening. Exhale, extend the leg, point the toes, and then follow the rhythm of your breath. Now, your mind may say, I need to stop, or this is painful, but if you bend, retract for a moment, and then go back into it, you'll surprise yourself. Don't let your mind get in your way. Keep breathing. Smile. Good. Flex and release. Walk it out. Bring yourself back to the front of the mat. Set your foundation. Inhale, arms and gaze. Remember, if your shoulders hurt, don't lift your arms all the way. Fold forward. Lengthen to that half lift. Step back through plank and exhale through chaturanga. Tops of the feet to the floor. Upward dog. Open that front body. Exhale, downward dog. On an inhalation, look forward. Bring your feet to your hands. And that might mean taking many, many tiny steps. Bend the knees, send the hips back. Put the palms on the thighs. Extend the arms forward. Lift the arms up. Know why you're doing what you're doing. Get these serratus muscles working. If you're here, you're probably more in a back bend without any strength in the posture. Know why you're doing what you're doing. Pain is an indication that you should modify or change what you're doing. You don't have to stop. Just create a change so you can continue on. Keep breathing. Keep breathing. Your gaze is up. An exhalation, you take the body forward. Halfway if that's better. Inhale to that long spine. Exhale, step back. Try not to hang the head. Build that strength in the neck. Lower through. Lift upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Virabhadrasana A or warrior one. Left foot pivots and right foot comes forward. Bring yourself up. Drop the shoulders. So in this warrior pose, the idea is we're not sending the knee past the heel. We're not moving into a twist. We're not moving into a back bend. We're keeping a nice straight spine. Keep your breath. Front hip back, back thigh forward. If you find that there is pain, perhaps you need to shorten this stance. Where your arms are should be strengthening, opening the shoulders. Neck is long. Breath is present. Now, as you inhale, straighten the legs. You may want to bring the hands to the hips, just to give you awareness as to how do I transition from one side to the other. Front hip back, back thigh forward. Know why you're doing what you're doing. Don't do it because I tell you to. Understand what movement you are creating in your body and how it benefits you. The neck is long. There's not strain in the neck. You're building strength. Unclench your teeth and your toes. If your arms are up, but there's no muscles in your body working, find that strength. Remember, work from the inside out. Open the body so the arms come parallel to the floor. Adjust that front foot. Adjust the back foot. The back foot could be turned in. It could be at 90. Use your breathing. Now remember here, if you're going past that point where your knee is going past your ankle, you're probably working more into flexibility. So try to find your strength. Make your foundation, your structure strong. Extend out through the fingertips. Don't turn your head if it hurts your neck too much. Use your breathing. Now straighten that leg, turn your feet, turn your head, and come down to the other side. If you're leaning, Good chance you're losing your strength, you're hanging out in your flexibility. So bring the spine long, drop the groin, lightly lift the pelvic floor. Use the eyes, use your breathing. As you transition into plank or chaturanga, you may find that you need to bring the back knee down. And if that's what you need to do, that is what you should do. Lower through, open up strongly, move the torso forward through the arms. Exhale into downward dog. You're coming into the seated portion now. Bring yourself onto your mat into Dandasana or staff pose. If you're like me, and this is your seated position, I was like this for over 12 years. The action of learning to lift my hips and tilt my pelvis forward changed my practice, changed how I felt in my body. Also, the act of bending the knees slightly if you need to. Do what feels right for you. Props don't make things easier. They help us find alignment. Hands come down, sternum lifts, so center of the chest as the chin drops, helping create that length and the strength in the neck that you need to prepare yourselves for some of the postures that we'll do in the intermediate class. Shoulder stand, halasana, even headstand. Feet are active here. As you inhale, look up. As you exhale, you're moving to a forward fold, Paschimottanasana. You may need to use the hands to reposition the glutes, or you may need to sit up on a block or blanket now. If I'm here and I'm rounding, I'm not truly lengthening the full back of my body. I may need to bend my knees to lift my hips and tilt my pelvis. Know what you need to create depth in your body, to create change. I could have stayed here forever, but eventually in time, I learned to lift and fold. I created change mentally and physically. Shoulders drop. Now, while the cue is often drishti to the toes, it doesn't mean by cranking everything. It means roll your eyeballs forward. As you inhale, lengthen the spine. As you exhale, repeat the same thing, or you can take your hands to the outsides of the feet, press the big toes away, open the elbows and fold the body. It can also look like this, or even here. Remember, when you're working into things, don't go to the full extent first. Ease your way in. Slow and steady wins the race. Fast and furious leads to injuries. Don't stay in the same position forever, though. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, release. Now, if it's in your practice to move through vinyasas, by all means. Otherwise, cross the legs, place the hands down, lift the hips. Moving through that area where you're building upper body strength and sparking into the bandhas. As you move to Parsvattanasana, you lean back, bend the knees, have the heels below the knees, and lift up. If the heels are forward, often you're feeling your hamstrings. If the heels are in, often you're feeling your knees. So set your foundation according to what you're feeling. Full pose if you know it, full incline plane. So do what works for you. And remember, if you're in this full incline plane and it looks more like that, you're really not working into strength. Good, slowly lower down. Spark vinyasa if you like. Bring yourself down. Moving into Jana Shishasana A, where the left leg is straight and the right foot comes in. Cue is like warrior, so left hip back, right thigh forward. Knee can open if you like. Body fold. Again, if you're feeling pressure, you can put something under that right knee. You can keep the left knee bent. If you like to use the straps, use the straps. Know why you're doing what you're doing, though. Feel the body working. This is a slight twist. This twist originates in the lower back. So it's not a big moving the upper back. As you inhale, bring yourself up. Your left leg is straight, so draw it in and spark here. And then switch. Right leg is straight, left comes in. Readjust, so the action of drawing the hip back, moving the lower left abdominals across. Either the left foot presses into the right inner thigh, or you start rolling that foot up. And each time you create the changes, recognize what that's teaching you in the body. Shoulders open, neck is long. Use your breath. Remember options to bend the knees, to use the straps. Feel the body working. Inhale, bring yourself up. Exhale, release. Now the right leg is straight, so if you cross, you're alternating and working the hips. So you're moving into Marichiasana. Your left leg is straight and your right knee bends. Now Marichiasana postures are about getting hips and shoulders open. So the right shoulder comes to the inside of the right knee. If you need to move that right foot out or even turn the foot out, turn it out, you may find that the weight isn't exactly even on both glutes. So you use the right foot to even that out. You can bring the hands into this prayer position if that works for you. If you're able to bring the right arm around the right leg and the left hand behind the back, you can do that. If the hands grab, great. But when I grab my hand, I'm drawing my shoulder forward, which takes this into a twist. Knowing that this particular variation isn't a twist, I might open my foot so I can draw right shoulder back, left shoulder forward. Again, when you're thinking about alignment, understand what the posture is meant to be teaching you. Use your breathing. As you inhale, you bring yourself up. So think front hip back, back thigh forward, pause, and release. The right knee draws down, the left leg comes in, and you spark from there. And now you switch sides. Right leg is straight, left knee bends. Now, if you need to bend that right knee to create more of a forward fold, by all means. Again, left shoulder to the inside. You may find that a strap does offer you the ability to create more opening in the body through the shoulders, through the hips. Don't just hang on to it. Hang on to it knowing why you're using it. Hands walk together, shoulders move apart. Getting the weight as even as you can on both sides of the body, because if you're heavily lying on the right side, later on you may wonder, why do I have pain in my low back and my hamstring? Front hip back, back thigh forward. Remember, you can stay here. It might look more like this. Use your breathing. And inhalation brings you up. You pause. It's the second part of the stretch. Exhale, release. Right leg is straight. You draw it in and you spark. Now we'll move into the twist. So the left leg is straight and the right knee bends. Set your foundation first. You do want the weight to be even on both glutes. And in order to have the weight even on both glutes, the hips are pointing straight ahead. Again, this twist starts not in the upper back, but sitting up tall, going low back, mid back, upper back. The hand can be on the leg. The elbow can be on the leg. Do what feels right for you. Remember, when you're using your body, you're not using it to force yourself. You're using it for resistance. So, and feedback. The elbow draws to the leg draws to the elbow. If all you're doing is really forcing the body, you're not working both with strength and flexibility. The neck is in line with the spine. The head turns. The shoulders draw down. All the weight on the body is not on that back hand. As you inhale, you bring yourself back to the center. The right knee drops, left comes in, and you spark there, building that upper body strength, and you switch sides. Right leg is straight, left bends. You sit up. So if the foot is right into the body and you're leaning back, you probably understand that the foot needs to move forwards so you can sit up. If you're leaning back and you enter this twist, it becomes a different twist. Not wrong, just different. So again, understand why you're doing what you're doing and do what feels right for you. This practice is meant to heal you, not to break you. And it is a strong practice. So not being mindful means that the risk of injury is much greater. Work with your breathing. Your breath is what creates the change physically and mentally. Bring yourself back to the center. You spark. You can vinyasa if that's what feels good for you. If you are doing the vinyasa, you would come down through chaturanga or plank into your upward dog. Tuck the toes, send the hips back, which could be there in child's pose or downward dog. You return to a seated position, and as we move into Navasana or your boat pose, the idea is not to have your boat sink. If you have tailbone problems, you can place a blanket and sit on a blanket. I wouldn't suggest sitting on a block. The spine is tall, the shoulders are down. Again, if you're twisting, try to set your foundation so that it allows you the most strength and stability. You may stay here. Some of you may find that you can pick your heels up off the floor. Elbows might draw in to open the shoulders. For you, it might be out. You can hold the calves. Some of you may be able to begin to straighten the legs, point the toes, and perhaps even releasing the arms. If your boat is sinking, you need to question, am I practicing from that place of ego or from that place of healing? When you release it, legs come down, you lean, pull the hips up and back, and come back into it again. So set your foundation. Decide what kind of day it is for you today. Use your breathing, lift the chest, look up, a strong neck, not one that's just hanging mindlessly. Strengthening the body, working both strength and flexibility. Again, know what the asanas are here to teach us. Open your mind. Good. Once more, spark or lean. And last time coming up, if this is where you need to be this time, give yourself permission. I think one of the most challenging things I've learned in the time that I've been practicing is to give myself permission for what I need in the moment. Yesterday's practice was yesterday's practice. Today's practice is a whole new experience and mindset. Cross, spark. Again, if you want to move through your vinyasa, move through the vinyasa. Bring yourself into Baddha Konasana or butterfly position. Again, if you're here, you may find that sitting up on this block or this blanket can really help lift the hips and tilt the pelvis. If you can, you roll your feet open. Elbows, for the variation we'll do today, elbows come in, body folds. If you prefer the rounded variation and you know it, by all means, go there. Shoulders drop down. If you are hanging your head, know why you're hanging it. Drop the shoulders. Keep the body strong. Keep the breath present. Let the mind ride the breaths. All those external thoughts will find a place to go rather than cluttering your mind. An inhalation brings you up. As you exhale, extend the legs. Draw the glutes back. Again, question if you're here. Would lifting the hips to tilt the pelvis help you move more into your forward fold, which this pose is? If you prefer the knees bent, go there. Perhaps you can straighten the legs. Know why you're doing what you're doing. Stay connected with the ground. If the bottom's up off the floor, where is the weight in the body? Keep your breathing. An inhalation brings you up. Exhale, release. Spark or vinyasa. You're coming down onto your back. So as you come down on your back, again, you can vinyasa there if that's in your practice. Set your foundation, so readjust your neck. You can use a little blanket under your neck if you like. Here, you may find that you would like a strap to help you with this. Your left leg is straight. Your right leg goes up in the air. You reach up with your right hand and grab your toes. Now, if you know that your leg is always bent and you look like this, perhaps you would truly benefit from that action of using a strap. That front hip, the right hip drops down. You use your legs. Some people prefer pointing the toes, and if that's what you need, by all means. As you exhale, you bring the torso up. If you're swinging the hip up, you know your foundation is not that stable and the risk of injury is great. So know why you're doing what you're doing. Torso comes down. Again, hip is ball and socket, so bend the knee, move the leg out. You may find that you no longer need the strap. Straighten the leg, draw the shoulders down, or keep the knee bent. What is it you need? Bring the leg back to the center, drop the hip, torso comes up. If your back hurts, bend that left knee and keep the left foot on the floor. Torso comes down, right leg comes down. Take a moment, bend the knees or bring the thighs into the chest. Feet come down, right foot on the ground, left up. If the back's not bothering you, straighten the right leg. Again, keep in mind, if that glutes up and the hips are not even, is this benefiting your body? So truly know why you're doing what you're doing. If you're holding the toes and always keeping the knee bent, perhaps you need to hold the calf today. Bring the torso up, the hips drops down. Breathe, shoulders, chin drops, lengthen the neck. Torso comes down. Bend the knee, allow the hip to move in the socket. If this right glute is lifting, understand that the risk of injury in the low back is much greater, and you're probably not connected top and bottom half at the core. So good chance you're hanging out more in your flexibility than your strength. You bring the leg back to the center. Again, if you need to bend the right knee, bend it. Torso comes up, torso comes down. Right leg can straighten if your back doesn't hurt. Lower that left leg down. Bend the knees, let them rock a bit. Bring the thighs up to the chest. Then place your feet on the floor. If you had anything under your head, take it out. You can always keep something under your shoulders. Coming up into a hip lift, or if you have it in your practice to do a wheel, by all means. Set your foundation, your feet. So your heels are below your knees as you come up. You draw the belly to the spine, you lift low back, mid back, upper back. Now, as you come up, you may find that where your feet is doesn't feel good for you. So adjust them, they are part of your foundation. Often what we find is if the heels are not below the knees, the pull is in the hamstrings. If the heels are too close to the body, often it's the pressures in the knees. This is not true for everyone. So find what's true for you. You want space between the floor and the neck so there's not compression in the neck. The sternum moves to the chin. If they touch, move it lightly away. Open the front body. Use your glutes. Lower the body down. Pause. Either repeat the same thing. For some of you, if the wheel is in your practice, by all means, go up into the wheel. You may want to bend the elbows lower down and press back up to be sure that you're working with your strength. Whenever you come down, pause, bring your thighs up into your chest, take a moment, notice, make sure you're practicing non-harming and kindness. You either roll up through a vinyasa or you bring yourself up, reset your foundation, which is different now than it was on your back, and move into Paschimottanasana, your forward fold. Keep your breath. Shoulders moving lightly away from the ears. It doesn't have to be aggressive, but open that upper back. Bring yourself up. You can move through that one last vinyasa if you like. Otherwise, bring yourself into your last 3 closing poses, which can be done cross-legged, one foot in front of the other, half lotus. Some of you go to full lotus. Do what works for you. You bring your arms behind your back and you roll your arms down your spine, tucking your chin in. As you exhale low belly, then from the bottom of the ribs, chin to chest. Your head may or may not come to the floor. If you find your bottom lifts, you might want to rest your head on a block. The eyes are open, the breath is strong, the bandhas are engaged. You bring yourself back up to a seated position and extend the arms down the legs, coming into thumb and index finger touching. Your yoga mudra for knowledge and wisdom. The chin drops down, the spine is long, sternum lifts to chin, and you breathe here. The eyes, they're still open. As you release, you place your hands on the ground beside you. You lean, lift to Uplu-Tihi. If you're not able to get the bottom off the floor, remember the idea is to build that strength that you were building each time you spark the bandhas. Roll the gaze to where the floor and the baseboard meet. Know where you're going in life. Look to the horizon. Be present in your breath. Lower yourself down. You can take one more vinyasa, or you can take a moment to lower yourself to the ground, stretch your body out, take a long, deep breath in, tighten everything up, exhale completely, releasing that Ujjayi breath, letting your breath return to your normal breathing pattern. Take a moment in gratitude to yourself and to your body for giving yourself this gift of time, which is truly so important. Take care of you so you can extend that kindness out there into the world. If you need a few more breaths or moments in Shavasana, please take that time. Otherwise, you can bring yourself up to a seated position, bringing balance back to both hemispheres of the brain by sealing your hands together, resting your thumbs on your sternum, taking a breath in, full of gratitude for all that we have. A breath out, full of gratitude for all that we don't have. And take a moment just to be grateful to you. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. Remember, go to YouTube, subscribe to our channel, and have a great day. Don't forget, replenish yourself, drink lots of water, stay hydrated, and I look forward to seeing you again next time.